Hey YouTube, how are you doing? It's been a while since we did a video, but we got a graduation coming up and we're doing a taco themed graduation party. So we're gonna do some ground beef, but my mom specifically requested some pulled pork for her taco. So that's what we're gonna do today, a Mexican style pulled pork. Let's bring you down on the table and show you what we're working with. And you can use pretty much any size butt that you need to feed the family that you have or whoever's gathering. This one was about a 7 to 8 pound one. I did trim it up a little bit, and we're going to be injecting it with a mojo marinade. It's basically just orange juice and grapefruit juice and some spices, garlic, all good stuff that's going to help to hold some of the flavor. So I went ahead and preloaded my syringe. And we're just going to pop that in, miss the bone. It'll plump up a little bit. That's going to help us impart all that flavor. Make sure you get a needle that has big wide holes right there. Mine are a little small, and I think the chunks in the spices in this marinade might be getting stuck. So just make sure you have decent sized holes in your needle. I'm going to finish injecting this up, and then we'll bring you back when we start to rub it. Alright, so now that we've got our pork butt injected with our mojo marinade, we're going to use a binder, but instead of using mustard, we're going to use Tapatio hot sauce. And it looks like it's a lot going on there, but it really does not come out that spicy. If you're kind of afraid to use the spice though, you could probably just use mustard because you're not getting any flavor from it anyways. It's just to help your rub stick to the meat. If you do use hot sauce, however, though, try to refrain from scratching your nose or rubbing your eyes. You won't have a good time. We'll do a little bit more on the top, since when I flipped it over, rubbed all that around. This will be our presentation side, so we'll try to keep it looking pretty. Alright, now that we've got it hot sauced up as our binder, we're going to use fajita seasoning. And just to kind of show you a little bit, we didn't even use a half a bottle of hot sauce. I know half a bottle of hot sauce sounds like it would be hot, but when you think about it, you've got 7 to 8 pounds of meat, and that hot sauce, a tablespoon of cayenne pepper on a saltine cracker is gonna be hot. Take that same tablespoon across a whole loaf of bread, won't be that hot. But we're just gonna take fajita seasoning. I just went ahead and opened me up some packs, and we're gonna start on the bottom side. Go ahead and take care of that first. We're not gonna use a whole lot because that is the bottom, and it tends to, you know, not bark up as well as the rest of it, but we do want a little flavor on it. And we'll go ahead and hit the sides while we got it lifted. And I'm just going to go heavy on this because I want a good bark. And the flavor profile that you're going to get off of doing it this way, most time pulled pork you get a sweet profile either with your rubs or barbecue sauce that you're using. This is going to be a much more savory profile but it's a definite change of pace, especially going in something like a taco. It should turn out real good. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting this one rubbed down. We'll put it in our transfer pan and take it out to the smoker, show you how we got that set up. Alright, so here we are outside. Our pork butt has had time to sit, and you'll notice that the seasoning has permeated into the meat, so that will give it good flavor all throughout and also get that bark that we want. So let's go ahead and take a look at the setup we're using today for the smoker. And there's our setup today, a pretty basic little Weber trash can Smoky Mountain setup. We got the coal on the bottom, and I made a ring using the minion method, where we basically put some hot coals in the middle and it burns all the way around in a ring. And now we're just gonna open her up and set our pork butt on. Get y'all over here so you get a prime time view. Sorry if you're a little motion sickness. There we go. And we're just gonna set that bad boy right there in the middle, let her get smoking, and we'll check back in. It's about 10:15 right now, so we'll keep track on the time for you so we know how long it cooked. But let me go get a probe and put in there so we can monitor the internal temperature. And you know what they say, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. Alright, our pork butt has been on the smoker for about 4 hours now at somewhere between 250 to 275 degrees. It goes up or down a little bit, just make your adjustments. We're going to come back with our hot sauce again, and I promise this won't be hot. We're just going to go over the top of it just a little bit. You can put as much as you like, but just remember, you can always set it off to the side, and if people want it a little hotter, they can always add sauce later. We're going to go back with our fajita seasoning and just give it a little dusting on the top. Just kind of build in some more of that flavor. Perfect. Now we're going to follow that with a little butter. And the butter is going to help add some richness to it. A little bit different than your sweet profile you normally get with a pulled pork. That one's probably going to fall off, but it'll be okay. Next, for our liquid component, we're going to add a little bit of chicken stock. Alright, so I had kind of a snafu with the camera. I'm using my phone, obviously. And apparently, I had too much on my SD card. So, it cut it off before I could finish saying that I ended up adding a cup of chicken broth and a half a cup of the mojo marinade that we injected earlier. Just trying to get some of those flavors to incorporate while it's wrapped under foil. So you got your pan, liquid in the bottom, meat, foil on top. It'll braise in its own kind of liquids, get it real juicy and tender. Now, it may make that bark a little softer, but you can always throw it back on the smoker and let it bark up again. You don't have to, especially with it being pulled pork, because it's just going to get shredded apart and all mixed up anyways. I like a little bit of bark, so I'm probably going to get a little bit more crunch on it. Take the foil off and let it sit inside there and get that crunch back, because I kind of like it. Alright, so after 9 hours on the smoker, this is what we ended up with. Some nice pulled pork for some tacos. I just threw a little cheese and some red onion on there. And to cap it off, a little bit of lime juice. So let's give that a squeeze. And let's see how good this turned out. Definitely has good spice. The meat's rich. You don't get any sweet element. It's all savory. Hands down, this is the best way to do a taco. So give this one a try. I bet you'll like it. And catch us on the next video.